Good afternoon, everyone. So the goal of my presentation today is to propose a new business model to help alleviate global poverty. For the past 4 decades, microfinance has been widely known as an effective tool to fight poverty, especially in poor developing countries. Essentially, it is the provision of very small loans to very poor people who usually do not have access to a formal credit system. Well, these small loans, when used wisely and productively, can help the poor to earn more income and improve their livelihood. And by distributing these small loans throughout the poor people around the world, microfinance has been instrumental in helping to alleviate global poverty. Now, it is very important to realize that there are different levels of poverty at the base of the economic pyramid. From the extremely poor, who earn less than $1 a day, to the low-income group who earn between $3 to $5 a day. Now, since its beginning, microfinance has targeted its effort on the poorest people at the base of the economic pyramid. But has microfinance been equally effective in empowering the poor people just above the lowest rung of poverty, as in the purple portions here? In the hopes to answer that question, I conducted a field study in rural Thailand on the market system. And unfortunately, I found that microfinance has not been well received in communities where the poorer villagers, although poor, are not at the lowest rung of poverty, such as those in Africa, such as those in rural Thailand. And so on this, there are still so many poor people in rural Thailand and in other regions with similar socioeconomic attributes waiting to be empowered to rise out of their current state of poverty. So on this worrisome note, I'd like to introduce you to the 3 main problems found in microfinance platforms today. So the first problem is that microfinance has not been very successful for the higher tiers of the poor. And let me give you some examples of why this happens. Kiva is a successful online non-profit microfinance organization based in the US. So it relies on the local microfinance institutions around the world to help service the loans to the poor. And we call them the MFIs. But however, these MFIs are mostly located only where the poorest people reside. And so the service access to the higher tiers of the poor, as is represented by the black portion here, is still very limited. Also, traditional microfinance caps the loan amount, which makes a tiny amount of loan irrelevant for the higher tiers of the poor. Now let's turn to the second problem, which is that microfinance usually provide no human capital development programs, which helps to educate and advise the clients who usually lack higher education. So in effect, microfinance only provides the money to the poor without helping or teaching them how best to use that money. The third problem in microfinance today is that a lot of the microfinance platforms are potentially unsustainable. For instance, with due respect to Kiva, it has no proper client screening process. And as a result, almost 100% of the clients posted online are funded, including those that are potentially going to be to default in the future. And the second problem is that Kiva's investors are philanthropists. So they earn no income whatsoever from the loans. So without monetary incentives, the investors' participation in the platform in the long run may be unsustainable. And finally, according to organizational behavior theory, nonprofit structure means that there will be lower salary scales for the employees and the managers, which in turn leads to low incentive for organizational development. So as you can see, the 3 main problems discussed here indicate a strong need for alternative microfinance model. And so today I'm going to propose to you a new design that would help solve these 3 main problems. And so let's now move on to the very exciting part of my presentation today. So I'm going to propose to you the design elements of my platform, and I will address how these elements address the 3 problems. So to refresh your memory, the first problem that I talked about was that microfinance focuses on the lowest rung of poverty. And so in order to provide adequate financial access to the higher tiers of the poor, I propose the following design elements in my platform. The first design element is an online peer-to-peer platform, which would directly connect the investors to the small entrepreneurs. And such a platform would eliminate the needs for local MFIs and would enable microfinance service to reach all main targets audience. And the second design element is to allow for higher loan ceilings. And this would allow the clients to take out a bigger amount of loans, which would make an impact and differences for the higher tiers of the poor. Now, we've come to the third component of my design here, which is a new and innovative component of my design aspect, which is the introduction to equity financing options. Basically, equity financing is similar to seed funding to entrepreneurial startups provided by venture capitalists or the VCs. And in principle, equity financing should provide the clients a chance to reduce their debt burden by not having to pay monthly interest payments. And only when their business ventures become profitable do the clients need to repay money to investors through dividend. And the viability of this design has also been reconfirmed by a research paper published in the World Development Journal, which summarizes that for microfinance, startup grants and equity option would be useful and appropriate in addition to the more common loan-based approaches. And equity financing evidently would be more compatible to the higher tiers of the poor who have better potential to carry out successful entrepreneurial ventures than the people at the lowest rung of poverty. And so, with the extra money that the clients can save each month through equity financing and the compatibility of the service to the higher tiers of the poor, we've come to a solution for microfinance to reach the higher tiers of the poor. Now, let's see how my platform can solve this end problem, which is the lack of human capital training in the traditional microfinance scheme. So there are basically two ways that we can help the poor clients become better financial risk through human capital training. First is that the platform itself may offer online training session covering fundamental business knowledge. Or secondly, the investor may act as business mentor to the clients, and this can be done through the incentive born out of equity financing. In a similar manner as the VC, who usually acts as business mentor to the startups they provide seed money to. And this can be in the form of business advice or technical knowledge transfer. Now, in order to cultivate this valuable mentoring relationship, I propose to create a new venue specifically for this purpose. A venue to facilitate frequent and efficient contacts between the investors and the clients. And these mentoring and knowledge transfer process would not only be beneficial to the client's current ventures, but also would help empower them to be more sophisticated and efficient in the long run. So now let's move on to the final solution to our third problem here, which is the unsustainability of microfinance operation. And again, equity financing offers a neat solution to this problem, especially as a means to provide, to improve the process of client screening. Because investors' financial rewards are highly dependent on the client's success. The investors would have the extra incentive to screen the potential clients more carefully, thus resulting in a pool of better quality clients for the platforms. And in order to promote the investors' participation in the platform and thus an ongoing supply of funds, I propose a business model which emphasizes the clear monetary rewards for the investors. So on the one hand, the registered lenders would earn competitive interest income for their loans, and the equity investors would earn competitive dividend income with possibility of capital gains. And finally, my platform would operate as a for-profit organization, which provides competitive salaries to the employees. And according to Skoll Center for Social Entrepreneurship at Oxford University, profits and social impacts are two main objectives of a healthy and effective social enterprise. Profits would not only be empowering the organization to survive, but also to innovate, improve, and grow into an organization capable of making real differences in helping to alleviate global poverty. And so here's the overall summary of my design of the new microfinance platform today. And so with this hopeful and positive note, I'd like to end the discussion of my design of the microfinance platform with a quote by David Bornstein, a famous journalist on social enterprise. What business entrepreneurs are to the economy, social entrepreneurs are to social change. They are the driven, creative individuals who question the status quo, exploit new opportunities, refuse to give up, and remake the world for the better. Now, the world would indeed be a better place to live in for all its inhabitants if and when global poverty and economic inequality can be alleviated, or even better, eradicated. or otherwise the world out of equilibrium may spin too dangerously close to the sun and burn in a great ball of fire. Now, the Great Pyramids of Egypt may stand to symbolize the history of human civilization, determination, and ingenuity, but how we work to reshape the economic pyramid will determine the future of humanity. Thank you.